Okay, so there's basically three types of crowdfunding. There is the rewards-based crowdfunding. People are putting, pledges of money, and they get maybe a T-shirt or their name on a credit. We had George Galloway on the show recently. He raised £160,000 for a film. That's a rewards-based crowdfund. Then there's peer-to-peer lending, which is another innovation here in the UK. I believe Zopa was one of the first, if not the first, or one of the first, to allow people to lend money to each other outside of the banking system.
Correct.
And then there's equity-based crowdfunding. And of course, you're one of the pioneers, one of the leaders, BnkToTheFuture.com. And so the struggle or the fight or the consideration now is to keep the crowd and crowdfunding, as you point out. You don't want it to have it just for sophisticated investors, £1 million net worth or $200,000 in income, et cetera. You want to be able to have people put up small amounts of money. It seems to me that in this country, people throw away £2 billion a year on gambling. Why don't they put that toward investing in companies that end up creating jobs, Simon?
Well, I mean, that's our whole point, because in the UK, about 60% of jobs come from the small to medium-sized enterprise sector. And almost all of those jobs are created once a business raises finance. So if you can get more finance into the SME sector, then you could channel that £2 billion of online gambling into something that can potentially make the person wealthier by having assets and learning how to invest at a small level, and also the potential of the business creating jobs and reviving the economy.
It's interesting because in this country, 40% of the GDP is tied directly to the banking sector. Another 40% is tied to essentially real estate sector. And that seems to be where the regulators are really concerned with, that they're concerned with the status quo, with the big banks, the too big to fail banks, and they're not, surprisingly, they're not really coming to the into the picture in terms of aiding the creation of new corporations using this innovative technique. Other countries seem to be jumping in. So New Zealand, Australia, the United States is going to have passed laws soon. So other countries, is the UK potentially going to miss the boat here?
Well, if we don't get the regulation right, then we could, end up losing it to another country. And so far, the FCA have shown in the consultation papers that they've just released that they're showing some kind of movement towards making sure that this isn't a game just for the rich and wealthy. What you have to remember is that they built their regulations, based upon the banking system. And a bank has kind of three fundamental reasons that a banking license gives them. Firstly, they own depositors' money. They become the legal owner of the money. They can spend the money as they wish, and they actually create the money in the first place.
Okay,
as well.
3 points there I want to reiterate. So when you deposit your money in a bank, they own the money.
Yeah, that's what a banking license does. They become the legal owner of the money.
They can do whatever they want with it.
They can spend it as they wish, and they allocate it through who they lend to.
And they create money from nothing through the fractional reserve banking system and other machinations.
Correct, yes.
So this system is really, is it any wonder then that the economy is, in the UK, you see a 4% decline in lending to businesses and a 40% increase during the same period, loans being created through credit card loans, et cetera.